Hey y'all, welcome back to another video with Life of Chelsea for General Hospital, May 15, 2025. Okay, y'all, so first things first, let me know y'all thoughts on today's new episode down below. Look, I said she seems to think that, hold on, she seems to think that Brooklyn knows that Gio is her son. I said, first of all, did she tell you that she didn't even know that it was a boy? So what you talking? She seems to think, look, hold on, y'all. But yeah, where was we? Yeah, she seems to think that Brooklyn knows that Gio is her son. But I said, wouldn't she be acting completely different than how she acting? But yeah, where we gonna start? Brooklyn and Chase. So today was Gio's birthday or whatever. He think his birthday is June 4th. Lois over here whispering. She already whispering to myself, happy birthday, Gio. I said, so she lied about that as well? I said, look, all these lies from the catch up to them. But yeah, on today's episode, like I said, Brooklyn was by herself. Excuse me. Brooklyn was by herself, and Chase asked her what was going on. She said today is her son's birthday or whatever. So when they showed Gio, I thought he was gonna mention that, today's his birthday too or something like that. But no, he ends up telling Donna that his birthday not to June 4th. But Lois did confirm that it is his birthday. She whispered it or whatever. He was playing his violin, so he didn't get to hear her. And I said, you finna get caught. You finna get caught. Lulu finna get caught. She finna sit up here and expose the secret, thinking that Brooklyn knows. And I said, I feel like Dante gonna be mad at her. I feel like Dante gonna be mad at everybody. Look at how he mad at Gio. He's still blaming Gio on today's episode, y'all. But yeah, Brooklyn was talking to Chase about her son. She ends up revealing that she wants to find her son, but she was like, the only way that's gonna happen is if he come. The only way she gonna get to know her son and stuff like that is if he come looking for her. But I said, how he supposed to come looking for you if he don't even know he adopted? But yeah, that's what she was talking about. He was like, "Have you changed your mind? Do you want to know?" And that's when she said that the only way is if he can come looking for her or whatever. Might as well get Lois out the way. She came talking to Chase, asking if he thinks that she made the right choice all those years. He said, "I think you did what was right for Brooklyn at the time and stuff like that." I said, "But wait till y'all find out." And his thing is, I know he want to have a child with his wife, but he keep on mentioning, when we have our baby this, when we have our baby that. I said, even when y'all had the baby, or if y'all had the baby anyways, because it seemed like they're gonna end up breaking them up. She's still gonna be that boy father. She's still gonna be that boy mama, and she's still gonna want to know what her child is. So it's not gonna make a difference. But yeah, that's how Lois and Chase was talking about the secret and whether or not she made the right choice. And I said, how you look? She feeling guilty, but not guilty enough to tell the truth. Not guilty enough to tell the truth. Sonny, Lois, Donna. I forgot to write Gio down there. Hold on, let me write it down. Gio. So Sonny ends up bringing Donna because apparently Donna and some more kids are performing in nurses ball as well. They was excuse me. Gio was there. He was playing. Donna wanted to watch him play. Meanwhile, Lois and Sonny was talking. Donna ends up mentioning that Sonny was sick, and she was asking him how you doing and stuff like that. And they just was watching Gio. They was just watching Gio or whatever. Sonny, Gio ends up talking to Sonny about everything that happened with Rocco. He's blaming himself. And Sonny just said, "I don't blame you." He's like, "I don't blame you. It wasn't your fault. You did the best you could do with what you had." I said, right. I said, how you gonna sit up here? Now, I do agree. If you'd have grown up in the situation, you can't be worried about them getting in trouble and nothing like that. In that case, yeah. But the way he upset, y'all know that's just because, they gotta set this in motion for when they reveal that that's his son. Because as of right now, he's still blaming Gio. He's mad than he more mad at Gio than he is Rocco and Danny. But y'all know they gotta set it up like that for it to come out that you actually his father and stuff like that, and then he's gonna be like, "I'm sorry, I didn't know." I said, they don't take away they don't take away everything you said. Wouldn't he still be to blame for your only child, your only son almost dying? He still would. But yeah, Lulu and Cody. So she over here got her tail. I said, why would you come on now? If you don't sit up here and tell Tracy you dropping it, you're not looking into it no more, why would you be on the phone in public talking about a adoption agency and questioning adoption agency and stuff like that? So Cody ends up popping up out of nowhere. He ends up hearing her on the phone. She tried to play it off at first, and he was like, no, you've been giving me the runaround, stuff like that. Now at first, when they showed that part when she ends up revealing that Dante and Brooklyn have a son or whatever, he was looking all shocked. I was like, wait a minute. I thought he knew. I could have sworn they told him all of this, but no. But yeah, he was looking so shocked, and I was like, I could have sworn. I was like, but then he mentions he was like, he know because he drove her to the bus stop and stuff like that. But he assumed that she had an abortion. He assumed that she had an abortion. But yes, Lulu just kept talking and talking. I was like, he's over here snitching. You over here snitching. But yeah, shockingly, Cody ends up saying, he grew up being lied to about who he was, so he don't think that's right. So she finally got one person on her side. And people mad. People mad. People is mad. They still feel like Lulu's overstepping. They don't think that she should be involved. And I said at this point, everybody else getting involved. Jason know about the child. Tracy know about the child. Might as well go and tell Dante if everybody else know. Yeah, I know. I've been saying that. I was like, if this is the case now, beforehand, I understand. But now that everybody's starting to know, y'all know I always say that. Anytime somebody find out a secret that they don't supposed to know, or somebody don't supposed to know, it's only a matter of time for the person that's supposed to know to know. I don't know if that makes sense, but y'all know what I'm trying to say though. But who else? I didn't finish with them, Lulu and Cody. She ends up telling everything that she knows, the fact that she's investigating and everything, and she feels like he has a right to know. She was happy that she finally had somebody on her side. She ends up getting a call, and whoever it was said that the adoption agency, I thought it was made up. I thought it was made up. Remember Lois came back out of nowhere and said what the name was? I thought she made it up. But they said it closed in 1980 something. And Lulu automatically thought that Brooklyn knew who her son was and stuff. I said, well, hopefully after this whole storyline blows up and comes out, they drop this doggone feud they got, but I doubt it. I doubt it. But yeah, she finally gets around to telling Cody that she thinks she knows who his son is and reveals Gio, but then it went off. I think they supposed to be talking about Gio mama. That's the key to finding out, the truth or whatever. I said, all you gotta do, I know what you gotta do. Just sit up here and take a piece of Gio hair, take a piece of Dante hair, and then boom, you got it. That'll solve everything right then and there. So I'm wondering also, with everybody practicing for the nurse's ball, is it gonna be like next week or what? But that's not what I was gonna say. I'm wondering if what secret is gonna come out at the nurse's ball, because y'all know every year it be something. I don't think they did it last year, but I think the year before last or the one before that. Remember, I think Willow was sick. I think Willow, if I'm not mistaken, Willow was sick or whatever, and that's when did Lucy, not Lucy, Aubrey got grabbed, right? Did she get grabbed during the nurse's ball? But yeah, y'all know anytime the nurse's ball pop up, something happens at the nurse's ball besides Lucy getting down in her underwear. Did she get down? Did that happen to her last time? I don't know. But yeah, what else? Did I finish? Yeah, I finished with Lulu and Cody. Dante, Christina, Rocco. So Dante, Christina, y'all know they picked up where they left off yesterday, where she revealed that she seen Rick's car. He was like, "How did you see it?" She told my son she was driving. She was on her way to work, and that's how she ended up seeing it. I said, But Dante was looking like he suspects something. But yeah, they was just talking about that, and she was saying how bad it was, and the fact that it could have been real bad because they could have died and everything. She was just saying how grateful she was. I think when she got to the nurses' ball or where they practicing for the nurses' ball, she was thinking about what could have happened if they had died. That didn't make sense. If she was basically thinking about it could have been worse or whatever. Um, Rocco ends up coming home or whatever, and that's when Christina leaves. So that's when Dante and Rocco got to talking about everything that happened. He was like, now that everything has settled down, you want to tell me what happened at the beach party? I said, it's a little too late, buddy. It's a little too late. Everybody don't sit up here and got the information except you. And then after he gets the information, he's still blaming Gio. But once again, we know that they had to set something in motion for the secret about him being his dad. That's why they had him say, "You my only child is and my only child is." But yeah, so Rocco's telling him what happened. He's telling him that he went with Danny or whatever. He chose to drink. Don't blame Danny. Don't blame Gio. He was like, he done the situation. He could have told us or whatever. You could have died and it's all his fault. I said, okay, that's a stretch. If that's the case, you might as well blame Danny because he the one told him to go there. But yeah, Rocco told him, he was like, I didn't go to the party with him. I didn't even know he was there. He told me, did he at least ask how much he had to drink? He's like, I don't know. He could have. I don't remember. Just started telling him what happened, and he's still over here, Gio. Well, yeah, he's still blaming Gio or whatever. Now it's like, yeah, they definitely set that up. They definitely set that up because they got a reveal. that he's his son. That's why they had him mentioned on today's episode. My only son could have died. And it's all Gio's fault or whatever. And then Gio's supposed to be talking to who he gonna be talking to on tomorrow's episode? Was it Lois? He was talking to somebody on tomorrow's episode, and they supposed to be talking about Dante and how he feels. I think Sonny. No. I don't know, y'all. I can't remember. Well, he's supposed to be talking to somebody about Dante and how he feels and stuff like that. You know, he had already said how he sees how Dante views him now or whatever. And I was like, yeah, that'd be back good. That'd be back good down the line. Alexis and Rick. So he popped up. I'm assuming, didn't she say something? If y'all seen the episode, did she say she got a court order for the car or something like that? I said that must be how Rick found out, because he came there and he was like, "What, you in a big of a rush? What you in a rush for?" This what he said. What you in a rush for, or whatever? And I don't think she told him where she was going, but it was a note waiting on her. But yeah, he came there. He said something about some more arrangement. I said at this point, lock Christina up once again, because they keep changing stuff. He done went and bought a new car and stuff, and I was like, at this point, at the rate they going, they gonna be on drain Ace. They done been on drain his money out, cause she keep making deposits. They going up, they doubling. I said, okay, it's gonna end up at zero. Then you going to jail. I mean, either way to go, you're supposed to go to jail. But yeah, he said something about making some more arrangements for payments and stuff or something like that. And I was like, dude, at this point, you doing too much. You doing way too much. I said they're gonna have to find a way to either blackmail these people back or some type of way, or everybody going to jail. And she was basically trying to tell Rick that what did she say the name of it is? What did she say the name of embezzlement? She said this is embezzlement. I'm gonna give you a way out or whatever. How they all going to jail or whatever. He still wasn't trying to hear none of that. He still wasn't trying to hear none of that. She ends up leaving or whatever. She goes to the spot where they supposed to have the car, and it's empty. It's empty, but it has a note. It has a note that says looking for something or something like that. And I said, that was funny though. That was funny. Cause she got there and she trying to be slick and stuff. Don't sit up here and did that stupid stuff with this girl again. And she over here talking about she don't know if she gonna ever be able to forget her. But yeah, they left a note. I'm assuming that Rick, cause you know he a lawyer or whatever, and maybe they get notification of this stuff. Cause if I'm not mistaken, she said something about she got a court order when she was talking to the dude that let her in. So I was like, yeah, you should have just went there. You should just went there, but no, you had to tip him off. So she sees the note and she ends up balling up and throwing it, and that's when Lucky popped up, and he said something about he ended up convincing whoever it was at the little place where they crushed the cars and stuff to tell him where it really was or whatever. So he was like, I know who. I think, oh no, she said it first, but they both revealed that they knew that Christina was the one that cut the brakes, and she finally said that Rick and Ava was blackmailing her. And I just realized that Ace is what, his nephew. So I'm wondering if she gonna end up telling him that about what she did, that the fact that she taking that money from his nephew. But yeah, I think that was the end of their scene. It was something else about that I wanted to talk about. What was it? What was it? Dog it. I don't know. It was something. I can't remember, y'all. It was something about the scene with Lucky now. No, I think it was Elizabeth, because Elizabeth was talking to Lucas. Lucas stopped by because first I skipped over that. Hold on. Elizabeth, Lucky, Lucas. So he was still questioning Elizabeth about Rick and the car and stuff like that. And that's when she asked him why he cares so much about his car. But Lucas ends up coming, so they didn't get to really finish the conversation. Um, Lucas and Elizabeth was talking about what's going on with her and Lucky, and she was saying she don't think there has ever been a time where she wasn't in love with him, but she just don't think it's gonna work because he always running off into the sunset or whatever. And I said I feel like him knowing and covering up. I said he going to jail too. Matter of fact, and he going. Well, I don't know. I take that back. Will he be going to jail too? No, because I don't think he tampered with evidence. Did he? No, I don't think he tampered with evidence. No, I'm about to say he going to jail too. But yeah, hold on. I got a notification. What's it? Oh, okay. But yeah, I said that's what's gonna be what causes them not to even get into, because they ain't in no relationship, is there? I don't think they in no relationship. But yeah, I was like the fact that he knew Christina was responsible for his accident. I said should stayed out of it. Should stayed out of it. I said don't. Y'all need to stop trying to protect her. She need to learn her lesson one way or another. But yeah, I said yeah, she don't sit up here and stir up all this trouble. Lois and Chase, we already talked about how they was talking about keeping the secret for Dante and how hard it is on him and stuff. But neither one is gonna tell the truth. Keep talking about how hard it is, but nobody telling the doggone truth before it gets exposed by Lulu. I already talked about Lucky and Alexis. Yeah, I think that's it, y'all. Let me make sure though. I'm gonna check my notes. Gio said his birthday June 4th. Let me see. I already said Cody wanted to help Lulu find Dante and Brooklyn's son. Rocco tell Dante Gio didn't do anything wrong. This big. Yep. That's it. That's everything. Yeah, that's it. That's all, y'all. Let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, this is Hey Girls Today and be safe.